Hi there, this is Mrs. Piper with the final stages of our leaf composition that's focusing on texture. If you recall, we collected our leaves. We used a box from a cereal packaging and we cut it out and we glued our leaves down. We then took a piece of paper, placed it over the leaves and rubbed them with the crayons for the frottage step of this assignment, and the frottage, the rubbing, builds up the waxy surface of your paper so that the leaves show. Now, if you'll notice, I have pulled out my crayons and some watercolors to do the finishing touches on my composition. There are several of the leaves that I think need a little more detail, a little more crispness in the edges. So because I have the crayons that I used for the rubbing and because I have the leaves, I can go in and I can clean up some of these edges. So let me just show you. I'm going to try to zoom in. Very good. I'm going to come in and I'm going to clean up some of these edges. For example, I'm using the brown here and I can see in the leaf that it does go up to a point, but that point didn't really show when I did the frottage. So I'm going to put that in and then I'm going to color it in just a smidgen so that it doesn't look like I outlined the leaf, but that I accentuated the line that did not show well with the frottage. So I'm going to go into this leaf and I'm going to use the dark red and I'm going to clean up these edges just a little bit. So you can do a little bit of detail work, again rubbing as you need to make sure that it looks natural and smooth. Not that your texture is smooth, but the transition between the outline and the leaf itself then shows up better and it looks more natural. I'm going to clean up that edge just a little bit, bringing in a little bit of the brown into the leaf so that it shows nice and clearly. So let me move my leaves out of the way and you can see my composition. Now, the composition can be manipulated and enhanced in many ways. You could go in with colored pencils and you could add additional colors. You could go in with markers. Keep in mind markers are kind of heavy. But you can of course add more crayons to it or watercolor. Now I am going to zoom out and show you that I've brought watercolors out because the wax will resist the watercolors nicely. So I'm going to play around with the colors that I have used. I'm not going to bring in new colors. So I've got red, purple, and brown, basically, and I've got a little bit of orange in the background. So where there is a red leaf, I think I'm going to put a little bit of purple in the background. So I'm going to touch my watercolor just slightly, and I'm going to put a little bit of purple into the background, just to do a little wash of it. And remember, we think about unity as making the composition one, giving it wholeness. Well, by adding a little bit of watercolor in some of the same colors, the purples, the reds, the browns, it allows your eye to move around the composition by following some of the colors. So I'm going to add a little bit of purple over here. It's going to be in the background. If I need to go back in and darken it up a little bit more, I will, because what will happen is the leaf will then start to look lighter in value as the background gets darker. So this is just using the purple. If I then fade to another color, you can see how, let me lift it up. You can see how the warmth of the red now comes forward as the purple pushes the background towards the rear. So I'm going to play around with the watercolors. I might add a few more details with my crayons using the same colors that I used before, because you don't want to introduce too many colors or it becomes ununified, right? It becomes disjointed. But I'm definitely going to work in a purple into my background, and I'm going to maybe play around with the brown a little bit and see how much I like that. So play around with finishing up your composition and enjoy. You can add markers, colored pencils, crayons, watercolors, whatever you choose to, in order to make your piece unified while focusing on texture. Don't cover up any of these wonderful textured leaves, because they really are what makes this composition lively and textural. So I hope that this has helped. I hope that you are open to trying different things with your composition and just enjoy finishing it up. I appreciate your time and thank you for watching. Have a great day.